Welcome to 2026, and thank you so much for your time in joining us on our first virtual event of the year featuring Viking River, Ocean, and Expedition. I'm Janet Anderson with Pavlus Travel. One of the things we love most about hosting these virtual events is the opportunity to bring travel right into your homes in a more personal way. Pavlus Travel is proud to be one of Viking's top partners, and that's truly because of you, our guests. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. During the presentation, your audio is muted and your cameras are off. However, you will be seeing and hearing from our hosts from Viking and Pavlos Travel. If you experience any challenges viewing the presentation, please try logging out and back on again. This generally assists in resolving the issue. At the end of the presentation, we'll have time for your questions. Please type them in the Q&A box. We also have a Viking team member behind the scenes to assist with questions that are coming in writing as well. If we don't get to all the questions, your Pavlos Travel Planner will follow up with you to assist. In addition, Pavlos Travel guests will receive a follow-up email that includes the recording of the presentation and our event special. You will be receiving this by end of day tomorrow. Based on your registration feedback, we hope we can cover everything you are hoping to learn today and then some. I'm excited to introduce our hosts, beginning with one of them, Michael Steidel, our Vice President of Marketing at Pavlus Travel. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you so much, Janet, for that introduction, and welcome everyone. Before we begin, I also want to wish you all a Happy New Year, and thank you for joining us for our very first Pavlis virtual event of the year. We couldn't think of a better way to start 2026 than by partnering with Viking and welcoming so many of you, especially those who may be new to Pavlis travel. Viking and Pavlis share a relationship that began over a decade ago, and over the years, that partnership has grown tremendously. Today, Pavlis is proud to be one of the largest sellers of Viking cruises in the world, and that long standing relationship translates directly into value, access, and added benefits for our guests. With more than 500 guests registered today, it's clear there's a lot of excitement around Viking, and for very good reason. What I'd like to do over the next couple of minutes is explain why booking your Viking cruise through Pavlus Travel truly enhances the experience, both in service and in savings. When you work with a Pavlus travel planner, you're not simply booking a cruise, you're gaining a trusted advisor. Someone who takes the time to understand how you like to travel, what matters most to you, and how to match you with the right Viking itinerary, ship, and stateroom. That personalized approach gives our guests confidence and peace of mind knowing they have an experienced advocate from start to finish. Our planners bring deep expertise and firsthand knowledge, helping you navigate everything from itinerary selection to pre and post cruise planning. And should there be any changes along the way, we handle the details so you can focus on enjoying the journey. Along with that level of service comes very real, very tangible value. When you book your Viking cruise through Pavlis Travel, you receive a $200 per person discount on any Viking cruise, whether it's river, ocean, or expedition. That's an immediate savings simply for working with us. In addition, based on the length of your sailing, you can receive up to $1,000 in extra onboard credits from Pavlis Travel. These can be used for shore excursions, spa treatments, beverages, or other onboard experiences, allowing you to personalize and enhance your time on board. These Pavlis benefits are fully combinable with all Viking promotions. In just a moment, Shannon will be on to touch on Viking's current savings event, which offers up to 35% off cruise fares. The key takeaway is that our guests don't have to choose. They enjoy Viking's offers and Pavlis's exclusive incentives. And because this is a special occasion, our first virtual event of the year, we're offering an additional webinar only bonus that Shannon will share with you toward the end of her presentation for those who book through Pavlis following today's event. When you add it all together, Vikings promotions, Pavlus's exclusive discounts, onboard credits, and personalized service, the result is exceptional value and a truly elevated travel experience. At Pavlus, we don't just book cruises, we build relationships, we advocate for our guests, and we ensure your Viking journey is thoughtfully planned and expertly supported every step of the way. To set the stage for what Viking does so beautifully, we're going to begin with a short video that captures the Viking experience, the destinations, the ships, and the philosophy behind their destination focused approach to travel. Following the video, I'll turn things over to Shannon Tiger, Viking's Director of Strategic Accounts, who will walk you through Viking's river, ocean, and expedition cruising and highlight the exciting opportunities available right now. Thank you again for joining us today. Enjoy the Viking experience.
I believe those who are curious see the world differently. At Viking, we have always been curious and quite a bit different. For over 25 years, we have been connecting the thinking person with the world. First on the great rivers, then on all 5 oceans, now on all 7 continents. We are one Viking, exploring the world in comfort.
Hi, so excited to be here with you all today. It's great to start the new year off together and talk about everything that's happening in the world of Viking. So, all our new itineraries I'm going to present today, and I'm going to present the experience that you would have on Viking for our rivers, our oceans, and our expedition ships in the polar region and the Great Lakes. So we have a lot to cover today. I'm really excited to talk to you about the world of Viking. So one of the things that I always like to start with is the fact that when you sail on Viking, you have the ability to really experience your entire wish list, or maybe you call it a bucket list. Hopefully, you're all planning your travel out years and years in advance. That's the exciting part, planning the destinations that you want to see. And what makes it so neat is with the world of Viking, you can actually sail on 5 oceans, on 21 rivers, and on 7 continents, which to me is absolutely fantastic to be able to see the entire world through the Viking lens. We're really an amazing experience with small ships. What we have the ability to do is to take you into most of the ports. I always like to say 95, 96% of the ports, right in the heart of the destination. So even if you're sailing on the oceans, which typically maybe a larger ship wouldn't be able to go to the heart of the cruise port, maybe docking in the old city, they may have to go into a cruise terminal or go into the ports by tender. With Viking, because our ships are so small, and you're going to learn about them today, you have that ability to be docking majority of the time right in the heart of these destinations. I also wanted to start with something else that is really exciting. Again, in 2025, for the 5th year in a row, Viking was awarded the coveted award by Condé Nast for #1 rivers and #1 oceans. And we continue to win awards like this through Condé Nast Travel and Leisure because we truly offer a very consistent experience. So, again, whether you're traveling those rivers, the oceans, through those polar regions, you'll always get exceptional service with our crew. Our crew makes you feel like family. And then you will also have that ability to have the enrichment, whether that enrichment and that education component, that truly immersive experience in these cultures happens on board through our enrichment program on board, which we're going to speak about today. Or if it happens when we're traveling on shore with you with our expert local tour guides, all of that experience, whether again it's onshore, it's with the crew, or it's on board with our enrichment, truly is what makes us different. We really pride ourselves on being a very destination focused cruise line, and we take a lot of time in carefully planning all of our itineraries. So they are truly curated for you to bring you the world in a very immersive experience. And so I think that'll come across in this presentation, and you'll know exactly what I mean as we travel through the world of Viking together today. So, what is a small ship? A small ship, again, gives you that ability to dock in the heart of the destinations. And with Viking, one of the things that we like to do is we like to make sure that we are curating our experiences that are filled with enrichment. And I'll take you through some of those experiences in just a moment. But one of the things that I absolutely love about Viking is that we have a very value inclusive program. So a lot is already included in your cruise fare. You do have the ability to customize a little bit, and we'll talk about that in the presentation, but most is already included. And we do not travel with children. So I have to tell you, that's one of the things that people love about Viking is our smaller ships and the fact that we don't have children on board. You have to be over the age of 18 to sail on Viking. And also, something completely different from traditional cruising is we do not have casinos on board. So I hope that doesn't make you upset. I will tell you that when you're traveling the world through Viking, you want to be on shore, you want to be attending our lectures, you want to be experiencing that enrichment. So we really don't want you in casinos. We also offer a very residential style. So you'll see that come across in the presentation with how our ships are designed. So it almost feels like you're coming home to your own living room, if you will. And so I'm really excited to share with you how we truly differentiate ourselves. Our Scandinavian design is very, very understated elegance. So always very light filled spaces. You'll notice on a river ship, an ocean ship, even the expedition ships, that there are floor to ceiling windows everywhere. So we really want that feeling on board to feel very bright. Also, because of the appointments of that Scandinavian design being in the light timbers, the light leathers, it is just absolutely so elegant, but understated elegance. So you won't find possibly like crystal chandeliers and all of that glitz, but you will have a beautiful Scandinavian design. And we thread this design throughout all of the Viking vessels. So you'll see a little bit of that when I preview some of our ship interiors. The cuisine. So we love whether you're on rivers, oceans, expeditions, but primarily even on the rivers, to really bring you culinary traditions that reflect that region. So you will be eating a lot of meals on board the vessel, but when you're on board our ships, I promise you what makes it terrific is we always have on one side of the menu your favorites like your steaks, your salmons, pasta, all that. But then on the right side of the menu, we really pride ourselves in curating a regional cuisine for you. So this is the chef's selection of a really taste, the ability to taste the region, and we source all of that through the region. So you will have all your ingredients locally sourced through the region. So trust me, when you're on board with Viking, you will have that opportunity to really taste the delicacies of the region and the traditions of the region. With regards to our inclusive value, this is something that I really want to stress with the Viking experience. And again, this is through all of the products. So whether you're on river, ocean, or expedition, we always include one complimentary shore excursion for every port of call. And I love this because this actually eliminates that stress and pressure of what am I going to do when I'm in port? Because you always know that you're going to be guaranteed one experience on Viking that's going to give you, whether it's an incredibly comprehensive city tour for over a couple hours or a special experience in that city, maybe going to see an abbey or a very special iconic site. you will always have that experience built into your itinerary. And then something that makes Viking unique is we have a plethora of optional tours. So these are tours that you can choose to purchase on your own based on your interests. So we all have things that we love, whether that be art or science or history or wine tastings or going throughout the cities and doing a wonderful culinary experience. Viking gives you that opportunity to have your included tour, but then also select something throughout that day, maybe in the afternoon, and be able to experience something that you're truly interested in. Of course, all your meals are included. Wi-Fi is included in your cruise price, and wine and beer and soft drinks at lunch and dinner. And we actually make a conscious decision to not include spirits because not everybody has the want or desire to have vodka or gin or cocktails. Some are just very happy with the wine and beer at lunch and dinner. So if you do love to have your before dinner drink, your after dinner drink, we have an incredibly priced silver spirits package. And this package is just fantastic because this is going to give you an extended wine list, and it's also going to give you the opportunity to not have to worry about purchasing a drink. You can just purchase that package up front, and you'll have the opportunity to have your before and after drinks or your drinks during the day, or even if you want a mimosa in the morning. So we have that way that you can customize by adding that silver spirits package. We also include in the fare all port, taxes, and fees. Ground transfers are included if you choose to do your air through us. And I have to tell you, folks, we have wonderful air contracts. Now, Pavlus, they'll service you. And if you want to do something unique or different with your air, they have that ability to customize it. But we do have wonderful air programs here at Viking that they will present to you as well. So virtually everything is included outside of the tips, which you can prepay in advance, as well as the spirits. And again, we keep our prices at a very a wonderful value because of that ability to customize. I also wanted to just talk quickly about the onboard enrichment. I think this is really important. Viking is dubbed the thinking person's cruise. People love to say that about us because we do put that enrichment very first as a top priority in our Viking philosophy. So and I will explain to you what this looks like, but our guest lecturers, whether you're on river with our extensive port talks or our historians that are residing on board our ocean ships. We also have cooking demonstrations, craft demonstrations, a lot of these performances that we'll bring from on shore to on board to really reflect the region. All of this enrichment is really centered around the regions that you are going to be visiting. We also do wine tastings on board. And during Christmas markets, we even have some super fun activities on board, like gingerbread house competitions and all that fun stuff. So I would encourage you to think about those Christmas markets as well, because we do love our river Christmas markets. On shore, we have a way that we love to describe it as the Viking way of exploration. And I do think this also sets us apart. And again, whether you're in Asia, whether you're on a European river, whether you're in the Med, we really pride ourselves on making sure that when we bring you on shore, you're with a local tour guide, and that tour guide is giving you an extensive city tour or site tour with all of the history. Things that you would never think to look up before you go, you will be learning about that firsthand while you're in destination, never missing a beat, always getting some behind the scenes opportunities. You can also do some privileged access touring, which is small group touring that really gives you the ability to go into iconic sites, but behind the scenes or places that you would never be able to experience if you were traveling on your own. But what we love to do is bring the local life into our onshore touring and experiences where you're really experiencing how the locals live, even some home tours we do, which is really quite neat. We also love experiences where maybe you're going into a factory or going into a bakery, learning how to make Portuguese bread. So you're really experiencing the economics of that destination and the working world of that destination. And again, privileged access, keep an eye out for those because those privileged access experiences are really amazing. We will be sure to brief you on everything that we can brief you on. Okay.
At Viking, we offer our guests the iconic and the expected, of course. But we also appreciate that we're all different. While I might be interested in more of a local life experience, a visit to a farmer's market in France, or a home visit, others might be more interested in understanding how a local economy works. So they might be interested in a factory visit, or on a smaller scale, a visit with a Portuguese baker. My record! So local life and working worlds are experiences that we include for our guests. And then we have privileged access, and that really is privileged. We open doors to places that otherwise aren't open. We share some of our friends' homes and palaces and castles around the world that they otherwise wouldn't share with just anybody. We open museums before and after closing hours, and we provide our guests with experiences that are not buyable. It's a commitment to make sure that we do everything we can to give our guests real experiences and privileged experiences beyond their expectations. That's what sets us apart from many other cruise lines. That's the Viking way.
So now I hope you enjoyed that video that really showcased how Viking takes you into these amazing destinations and truly brings those cities to you through these immersive experiences. It's one of my favorite things about Viking is how we tour on shore. And to me, that's one of the most important parts of selecting a way to see a destination. You really, truly want to make sure you get to see that destination and experience it. So now we're going to talk a lot about our ships, whether it's river, ocean, expedition, and some of our most popular itineraries, as well as some of the new itineraries. So this part of the presentation is always super fun because there's nothing better than learning about new places to visit, building out that wish list, your travel wish list. So let's get to it right away. So first, we're going to start with our river cruise experiences. Now, our European river ships, we call them Viking longships, and they all look the same. So that's the good news for you when you're choosing most of our European rivers. So this would not be the exotic destinations. All of the ships are going to look the same. There are 190 passenger ships. We have 95 staterooms and 4 decks. And again, that small ship experience, if you haven't decided whether or not you want to go on a river cruise, I hope after listening to this presentation today, you get super excited about it because just merely on these photographs that I'm going to show you is a great true representation of what it's like to sail on a river. The rivers are smooth, the river ships are long and narrow, and they dock in the heart of all of these fabulous ports. Some of them big iconic cities like Amsterdam, Budapest, Prague, Paris, right? So iconic cities. But then after you start sailing down the rivers, you get the opportunity to experience so much culture and history because you're in a new port every single day. And as these pictures represent, these destinations are truly at your doorstep. So you will be walking on and off the river vessel right into heart of these destinations. You have that fantastic experience, like I said earlier, that all-inclusive experience that we like to say when it comes to the touring piece with that one shore excursion for every port of call. And again, you're with the tour guide and you'll be wearing what we call quiet boxes. So it's a little earpiece and receiver. And so you'll be able to hear the tour guide, even if you're not directly behind them. You don't have to be on the heels of your tour guide and you still are getting all the commentary. And what I love about our local tour guides is they actually bring in their own personal experiences of living in that city. So that is, to me, really priceless. I love the fact that you learn so much from their eyes, from their experiences living in that city, like where their grandmother lives, or their favorite bakery, or their favorite restaurant. So that's really quite neat, on top of all the history that you'll be learning about those iconic spots. And then on board, we talked about how we really truly want to bring that region's cuisine into the culinary experience on board the river vessels. So all of our ingredients are locally sourced. Our wines, we have a wonderful wine and beer list from the local region. So that's also really quite neat. And people, they love to speak about how delicious the food is on board Viking. And we also did win an award with food and wine. So we do have a wonderful culinary experience on board. And then also we have great culinary tours on shore. But what makes us also unique is you can go at your own pace. So you can choose different types of activity levels for all of these tours. So if you want to do an easier tour, you can do an easier tour experience. Say you want to take the motor coach into the city, or if you're a little bit more active, if you want to hike, if you want to do the walking tours from the ship into the city, you could do that. So you do get to customize how you want to experience the destinations, and then as well, you can choose the optional tours as to that really hit your own personal passion points. For river cruises, the first time river cruise experiences that everybody loves and we always recommend would be the Rhine River and the Danube River. And then what we're going to talk about today is the Grand European Tour. And why I chose to feature this itinerary in this presentation today is because it combines the Rhine and the Danube River. I love this. If you have a little extra time and you really want to make the most out of your European river experience on your first time, I would highly recommend the Grand European Tour, because it gives you the ability to see and experience the Rhine River and the Danube River combined. So let's just go through that tour a little bit, take a little bit more of a up close look at it. It is one of my favorite. It would take you from Amsterdam to Budapest, or Budapest to Amsterdam, so you can go either direction. This tour is a 15-day, 14-night experience. And then, of course, we always recommend doing a pre or a post experience. So whether it's on an 8-day experience with us, or if it's on a 15-day, we do want you to go into these really fantastic ports and experience them a little bit beforehand and maybe a little bit after. This would be on land. So we call these pre and post experiences. In this case, I highly recommend Amsterdam. I highly recommend Budapest, and I highly recommend Prague. So if you haven't been to Prague, definitely consider that. So we're going to journey down the river today, going from Amsterdam to Budapest. We love Amsterdam. This is a city that has so much to offer. Again, really think you should try to spend a little extra time here to experience the museums. You've got the Van Gogh Museum, you've got the Rijksmuseum, you've got the Anne Frank House. The city is so easy to navigate by foot or by their canal boats, where you can just jump on and off the boats into all the multiple districts, such as the museum district. So again, highly recommend spending some extra time in Amsterdam. Then you're going to go to Kinderdijk. Kinderdijk is a really neat port that I actually love, because it talks about the famous water systems that they have in the Netherlands and how important these windmills were to managing the water. And you can actually do this tour by walking or by bike, which is really quite neat. Then we have our Dutch cheese making experience. So if you wanted to also learn about how to make Gouda cheese, we call it Gouda cheese here in the United States, if that's where you are, you could do a Dutch cheese making experience, which is quite fantastic as well. Then Cologne. Cologne is one of my favorite cities. This is Germany's fourth largest city, and it features the Dom, one of the most beautiful cathedrals, I believe, in Europe. It is absolutely stunning. You'll have a fantastic city tour in Cologne, giving you the opportunity to step inside the Dom. You can also do a privileged access tour here where you can go up into the spires. And one of the things that I love about this is you also have the opportunity to go on a beer culture dinner. So we spend a whole day here in Cologne purposely so that you can see the city during the day. And then again, you can choose to do an optional tour and go into sort of like a pub crawl or experience the cuisine of Germany. It's known for Kolsch beer, so that's really quite fantastic. We want to make sure that you actually really are experiencing the Kolsch beer here in Germany. In Cologne, this city is like over 400 different variations of Kolsch beer. So definitely, if you're not going on the beer cultural tour, then I would recommend just stopping at a cafe and experiencing the Kolsch beer. Then we go to Koblenz, and Koblenz is also a fantastic city because here in Koblenz, you have the opportunity to go to Marksburg Castle. You have the opportunity to go to Ehrenbreinstein Fortress or just tour the city of Koblenz, which is one of my favorite experiences. I love Marksburg Castle because you have the opportunity to go into Marksburg Castle and tour all the different apartments of it. It is a medieval castle. So that's really quite neat, folks, to be able to go into a medieval castle. Ehrenbreinstein Fortress, which is the picture that we're seeing here, you would actually take a cable car up here. This is another optional tour that is fantastic. So in the city of Koblenz, if you like the extra history or want to go into a castle, do those optional tours. The included tour is a walking tour of historic Koblenz. Next off, we're going to go to Mittenberg. Mittenberg's actually really quite neat because Mittenberg is when we start heading into what we call the Spessart region. This is actually like the home of Snow White, which is really quite fun. And here, before we get there, we actually do this really fun glass blowing experience on board. So we have a demonstration on board, which is really quite neat before we get into Mittenberg. So we'll be sailing traditionally in the morning if you were going this direction. But yes, like I said, this is on now when we enter the beautiful Main River. And it's absolutely stunning. And you can see again how these river ships are docking right in the heart of these villages. So this is a Franconian town. It's got amazing history. And so I think you're going to absolutely love it. And you'll love the scenic river experience. And next off, we also will be going to Würzburg, which is also on the Main part of the river, which is basically where we connect the Rhine and the Danube River. And here we have the opportunity while you're in Würzburg to actually see the Würzburg's bishop's residence. This is one of Germany's largest and most ornate palaces. So castles to palaces to amazing World War II history. You're absolutely going to love this. And here's a little glimpse of what the palace looks like inside. You can see why they describe it as one of the most ornate residences in this region. And then we will next up be going to Bamberg, which is also a fantastic city. I love the city of Bamberg. It's known for its smoked beer. So take a look at this. This is the city hall that is actually sitting right on the Danube River. We're actually still kind of on the Main. And what happened was the city of Bamberg ended up having a huge fire. And from that fire, they had their beer be smoked. And so you can try your palate out with some smoked beer. The next port on this itinerary of the Grand European Tour is the most fantastic city of Nuremberg. We love Nuremberg. There's so much history here in Nuremberg, and here you'll have the opportunity to see a lot of World War II history. This is where it all started. You'll go out to the Zeppelin fields. You'll see this is where the Nazi parade ground of the 1930s was. This is where all the propaganda was starting. And then we even have the opportunity while you're in Nuremberg to have the ability to go into the war crime trial courtroom. I've done this tour personally. It's an optional tour and it's really quite fantastic. I think you'll love it if you're a history Buff absolutely have that opportunity. The tour guide will take you in and teach you all about what happened in that courtroom and how they were tried. Then we go to Passau, which is famous for the St. Stephen's Cathedral. In Passau, you'll have the opportunity to do a terrific city tour with our tour guides. It's wonderful. This river is really truly known to be at the confluence of the here. So I want to take a picture, show you what this itinerary looks like of beautiful Passau with the beautiful buildings. And I also wanted to share with you a little bit about Regensburg. So this is also a port that you'll be visiting on the Grand European Tour, one of my favorite ports. It's known for it's a medieval city and it was untouched in World War II. So you have the opportunity to really explore by foot this medieval city. And it has the oldest sausage kitchen. When you're in Passau, you can choose to actually go out to Salzburg as well, where The Sound of Music was filmed. And then, in addition, if you're active, we love our e-bike tours, especially alongside of the Rhine and the Danube. So we offer these bike tours that are truly fantastic. And so highly recommend the e-bike tours. I don't know, some even say you don't really necessarily need to pedal on them. I find myself trying to get some exercise on the e-bikes. So highly recommend those as well. The Melk Abbey is a 900-year-old Benedictine monastery. You'll be able to be going into this abbey. This is the included experience in Milk. Highly recommend it, and you'll see how beautiful the frescoes are here in Milk and the stunning staircase. I love the Abbey experiences because it just gives you another glimpse of the beautiful architecture. I was also remiss to not mention that most of these cities and these iconic spots are also UNESCO World Heritage spots and sites. So you can kind of create a passport book of all the UNESCO World Heritage sites that you've seen. Next, we're going to be sailing the Wachau River and then heading to Vienna, and we'll be having a full day here in Vienna as well. This part of the river is also deemed a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's over 18 miles of scenic river cruising. You're thoroughly going to enjoy that. There's no doubt in my mind. And then we're going to head to Vienna, which is, of course, the city of Mozart and Strauss, the city of waltzes. You may have heard of the Danube Waltz. And it's definitely Europe's center for classical music. So we have a lot of opportunities here. It's such a beautiful, large city. And you will have your included tour, which is going to be your walking tour of Vienna. Highly recommend taking a little bit of time to just, again, sit at a cafe, maybe have the famous Vietnamese coffee, and then experience that local life while you're on that walking tour. During these city tours, we always allow for some extra time, and then you can even do optional tours to go see the Lippinzanner Stallions, which is really quite fun. I highly recommend that if you love horses, especially. And another thing that's really fun, and I always think this is a great optional tour for you to experience, is the Mozart Strauss concert, where you'll go to an all old concert hall and everyone is dressed up in period pieces that are performing. So they're period costumes, and it is absolutely amazing to experience a Mozart Strauss concert in Vienna. Another favorite spot of mine while you're in Vienna, which is also, again, an optional tour, is going to be Schönbrunn Palace. So Schönbrunn Palace is just stunning. This is an optional tour, so you'll do a city tour in Vienna, and then you can head out to the countryside to Schönbrunn Palace, where you'll walk through this palace. It's stunning. It's like a mini Versailles. The gardens are fantastic. It was an old hunting lodge, but then they turned it into a beautiful palace with continuing to extend it. And it was Maria Theresa's favorite. So highly recommend that. And then last but not least, on the Grand European Tour, you'll be headed to fabulous Budapest. Now look at this city. There's two sides of the city, the Buda side and the Pest side. And you'll see we're looking at a picture here of the Danube River and the Pest side. And how stunning the parliament is. So we love our city of Budapest in the evening when it all lights up. So extra time in Budapest would really go a long way. You'll see there's so much to see and do here. There's fantastic shopping in Budapest. It's Andrássy Avenue, which is kind of like the Champs Elysees of Budapest. So great shopping here. Highly, highly recommend it. And then if you're interested, I would pack a bathing suit for the thermal baths in Budapest. So again, a wonderful experience here in Budapest. Really recommending some additional time here or heading out to Prague, because Prague in itself is also such a gorgeous city. So again, we mentioned that there were a lot of extra optional tours. So definitely keep a lookout for those optional tours. And then also really pre-plan what you want to do for your pre and post extensions, whether it's in Amsterdam or it's in Prague. You would want to do these through us, or someone at Pavlus can, of course, customize an experience for you. If you do your air and your pre and post extensions through Viking, again, those ground transfers are included. So we have the Grand European Tour. We just finished that. If it's too long for you, the 15 days, we could break the rivers out. This is a sample of what the Rhine River itinerary would look like from Amsterdam to Basel, Switzerland. We also have a new Rhine, Main, Danube Odyssey itinerary. That's fantastic. It's 18 days, giving you the full Danube as well as the Main Danube Canal, and then the going down the Rhine into Switzerland. So if you've already done Amsterdam and Cologne, this could be a really neat itinerary for you. And then, of course, the ports that we love on that lower part of the Rhine would be Strasbourg. Fantastic World War II history here. We have a great culinary experience here as well in Strasbourg. And then the medieval city of Colmar. So this would be as if you wanted to do the lower part of the Rhine. And then if you wanted to just go on the Danube, we have an 8-day sailing on the Danube from Budapest to a small city in Germany, Regensburg or Passau. You could go again in either direction and then tack on that Prague pre or post extension. So again, you could do the full Grand European Tour, or you could just do the Rhine, spending some extra time with the pre and post in Switzerland and Amsterdam, or you could do just the Danube, spending some extra time, say, in Prague or in Munich or in Budapest. And I'd be remiss not to mention the Christmas market. So I had to show you a picture of what these beautiful, authentic German cities look like, all decked out for the Christmas markets. The entire square turns into a beautiful Christmas market setting with all of these stalls. It is so fun and festive. And of course, these take place in the month of December. I would also want to just quickly touch on with you, because I told you I'm going to give you the full Viking experience here today. The French rivers. We love Paris in the heart of Normandy. So these are the river cruising experiences that are most popular in France, where you can go round trip Paris and then go out to the Normandy beaches. This is great itinerary. I love Lyon and Provence. If you have already done the Rhine, the Danube, maybe you've done Paris in the heart of Normandy. I love the south of France. And you could do great extensions here in Geneva. You could do the south of France and do the French Mediterranean. Just absolutely fantastic. If you love wine, we always encourage Chateau Rivers and Wine, and doing a fantastic experience on the rivers in the Bordeaux region. So highly recommend those as well. And then Paris to the Swiss Alps. That's another way to see Paris, and then head down into that lower part of the Rhine. So as you can see, so many experiences. Portugal, the Douro River. I just got back from Portugal. Wow, it is stunning. We cruise that river during the day, going from Lisbon up to the Douro River. Highly recommend you take a look at that one as well. It really is absolutely superb. So I wanted to showcase the river ships just a little bit, show you some of my favorite spots on our river ships. You can see again that Scandinavian design, the narrow ships. It really lends well because it's so light and bright. The floor to ceiling windows everywhere. This is the lounge and the beautiful area of where we do all our presentations, where we have our before and after dinner drinks, trivia, entertainment. And again, you see those floor to ceiling windows. So there's just always such beautiful glimpses of the river surrounding you. We have the Aquavit Terrace where you can have dining options outside or in our Aquavit area, which is again floor to ceiling windows like a garden cafe. Fantastic for you. The restaurant also has floor to ceiling windows everywhere, and our sun deck is where you can enjoy some beautiful scenic river cruising outdoors, getting some fresh air. We have a lot of sample staterooms for you. We have our veranda suites, our veranda suite staterooms. The suites are 2-room staterooms. The veranda suite staterooms are just a room with a veranda, but very spacious and lovely French balconies, and then our standard category. So lots of options for you there. So we're now going to get off the rivers of Europe. We're going to quickly take a glimpse of the Viking, Mississippi. This is a beautiful modern river ship, giving you the opportunity to go all the way from St. Paul to New Orleans or New Orleans to St. Paul. If you wanted to do the big 15-day itinerary throughout the entire Mississippi River, this is America's great river. And I just wanted to talk to you about some differentials here. So we have lots of options for you where you could go New Orleans to Memphis. You could do the upper part of the Mississippi. So we have options for you doing St. Paul to St. Louis, again, the full river. So lots of ways that you can experience it if you want to go for 8 days, 12 days, 15 days, and even 22 days. But what makes Viking really unique on the Mississippi River is the actual ship is modern. So you won't find a paddle wheel on the back of a Viking Mississippi ship. You'll actually see all of that beautiful Scandinavian design threaded throughout the vessel. You can see, again, the light-filled spaces, the floor-to-ceiling windows. Just at every twist and turn, you can get a glimpse of the rivers. We also have an explorer's lounge on the Mississippi vessel, which is great. The Viking Mississippi, again, some beautiful areas for you to just rest, relax, and take in all the scenery. And instead of a paddle wheeler, we have a infinity plunge pool off the back of the Mississippi ship. So bring a bathing suit if you'd like to join us in our plunge pool. We have lots of staterooms. And again, these staterooms look a little different than our traditional European river ship, all with that modern design. So take a look at that. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to actually talk a little bit about the Mekong River, okay? And then we're going to actually go into Egypt together. So super excited to bring Egypt to you. All right, so this is the Mekong River. If you're interested in going to Thailand, we have 2 ships on this river that are new. They're 82 guests, 5 decks. A lot of folks love seeing this, the Mekong River through the lens of Viking, and they love doing those pre and post extensions. So we're not going to go through this itinerary, but I do encourage you to take a look at it. This is one of our exotic rivers, and you have the opportunity to do Cambodia, Thailand. It's just Hanoi. It's just amazing. So highly recommend that itinerary. But I did want to spend a little time with you on the Nile. And the reason why is this is a market and an experience that Viking is so excited about. We actually are building ships. We'll have up to 10 ships on the Nile River. We have lots of new ships already there, and we would love to showcase them to you today. This itinerary, I just had some family members come back from the Nile, and they absolutely said it is truly one of those bucket list destinations. You definitely need to do this in your lifetime. I would really highly encourage it. So what makes the Nile itinerary so unique is you would fly into Cairo, you spend multiple nights in Cairo at a hotel, and then we fly you to Luxor. It's a very quick flight to Luxor, and then you experience the Nile River. But of course, really why you're experiencing this river is truly for all of those amazing sites, right? Everything that you think of when you think about all that history you've learned in this region. This is really why. 5,000 years of history. It's one of the world's oldest civilizations, so it's really quite neat. So you have that time in Cairo, you have the beautiful Egyptian hospitality, and then, of course, all of those iconic spots that you want to take a look at. So let's talk a little bit about that. When you're in Cairo, you're going to, of course, see those famous pyramids. You'll be able to go to the Saqqara steps. This is, of course, guided with an Egyptologist. So you will have all that history right there, front and center for you. This is one of the coolest, oldest stone structures in Egypt. So you're going to absolutely love that experience. But then also, we're going to take you to the Giza Plateau, and you'll see that Great Pyramid of Khufu. This is this is the seventh wonder of the ancient world. So you will absolutely love it. It's the picture to the right with the Sphinx. Then, while you're in Cairo, we also will take you to the Egyptian Museum. It's known as the Gem. So you'll love that itinerary piece of experience. This museum is absolutely fantastic. And also, while you're in Cairo, if you're daring, you'll have that opportunity to take a hot air balloon. So this is an optional tour where you can go and take an hot air balloon experience. People love this. This is also kind of one of those bucket list destination type of things to experience. Then we're going to take you and take you to, of course, all those iconic spots. We're going to take you to that capital of Egypt, Luxor. So we'll fly to Luxor, and then you'll start your cruise on the Nile. And of course, this is amazing. So this is where you'll have that opportunity to experience all the temples and the decorated tombs. And it's really just amazing. So this is really, truly often described as one of the world's most famous open air museums, if you will. And so you will thoroughly enjoy that experience there. And then we'll have the opportunity to take you to the Karnak Temple. So this is also this is all very spiritual too, by the way. You're experiencing some of the most amazing ancient civilizations and temples, and having the ability to actually go inside of them. It's just fantastic. So after that, we will also take you to, to Abu Simbel. So this is something that you would do by flight. This is an optional tour, and it's really quite neat. A lot of folks will be doing this on board, probably about 30 of the guests or so. And people absolutely find this to be amazing. So think about doing this as an optional tour. And then we will, of course, go to take you to all of the Valley of Kings and look into all of the ancient burial grounds of Egypt's pharaohs. This is the tomb of King Tutankhamun, and it's I haven't been to see this, but my family members thought it was really quite interesting to see all the different tombs and how they're represented in the culture, and some, of course, nicer than others. And then after that, you'll head back to Cairo, and you'll see Coptic Cairo. You'll experience some more shore excursions in Cairo, and continue to discover that rich heritage. The ship itself is absolutely stunning. This is our Osiris, one of our newer vessels. So let's take a look at how beautiful this ship is. You can see there's a pool on board. So our European longships don't have pools. You can see all the little open air and beautiful couches, sitting areas to really enjoy the region. Again, those floor to ceiling windows are just fantastic. The Viking Lounge, where all the entertainment, the demonstrations happen. This is kind of what we always call, again, the heart of the vessel. And again, you see that beautiful Scandinavian design and truly how understated and elegant it is. We absolutely really believe in creating these environments that feel very residential. And I think this is another one of those pictures that depicts that. And then let's showcase to you some of the staterooms. These are our veranda suites. You can see these beautiful 2-room suites on the Egyptian ships. Our veranda, again, a lot of folks love that ability to step outside onto a veranda. And then, of course, we have other stateroom categories as well. One of the experiences that I wanted to showcase to you today for a pre-package is the ancient Greece. So this is a 4-night experience that you would add on to your Cairo Egypt Nile experience, and it's all about ancient Greece, and it's fully guided. I highly, highly recommend this if you're interested. And then we also have Jordan, Petra, the Dead Sea, Alexandria. So again, you want to be looking out for what those pre and post extensions look like. All right, we're almost off the rivers, but I'd be remiss to not talk about the Brahmaputra River and that experience in India. This is very limited availability on it, but really what makes this experience neat is that we spend a lot of time on land. So we'll spend 2 hotel days in Delhi, 2 hotel days in Agra. So you'll see the Taj Mahal and all that, of course, and then 2 hotel days in Jaipur. And then we actually will take you to by flight to sail the Brahmaputra River, which is really unique. And you'll have the opportunity to also go to the Karazanga National Park. And then we bring you back to Delhi. So a really cool itinerary. I would highly recommend taking a peek at that if you have the opportunity. All right, folks. So next up, we're going to talk about Viking Ocean. So I'm going to try to do a good job at bringing you up to date on everything that's happening on Viking Ocean. Our ocean ships are 930 passengers. Every room has a veranda. So even the veranda staterooms, the lowest category is a veranda. And then, of course, we have suites. It's beautiful. It's perfect size. I always like to say it's just right. Still giving you the ability to go into all of these fantastic ports right in the heart of the port. So Stockholm is a great example of that. On Vikings ocean ships, you're docking right in the old city if you were, say, to do the Baltic with us in Stockholm. So remember, not a lot of tendering, small ships, residential style, no casinos, no kids. Our most popular ocean itineraries are the British Isles Explorer, the Mediterranean Odyssey, and the Viking Homeland. So these are a great 3 examples of first time most popular cruises on Viking. One of the things that I did want to point out, though, which is really quite neat, is the idea of when you go to Scandinavia. If you were going to do the Baltic on Viking, that 15-day experience also gives you a tremendous amount of exposure in Norway. So you have Bergen, you get to go through the fjords and then go into the Baltic. So love that. And then the other itinerary specialty that I like to point out is the Mediterranean Odyssey. I've done this itinerary myself, and I love it because you go on the Adriatic. So you start, say, in Venice, go and sail to Croatia ports, then to Greece, then go through the Strait of Messina, and then into the Western Med, doing a traditional, say, Rome to Barcelona, but also you get Naples. So just really terrific itineraries for you lined up there. With our most popular. But let's talk a little bit about these Scandinavian itineraries. If you're interested in Iceland, one of my favorite itineraries that I'm highlighting here today is Iceland's majestic landscapes. This is really popular, folks. This is 13 days, giving you 4 ports, 4 experiences in Norway, then taking you across the Norwegian Sea over into the Atlantic Ocean by way of the Faroe Islands, and then doing the northern part of Iceland. It's a great itinerary to give you a little bit of Norway and to give you the experience of Iceland. But we do also have Iceland experiences, so many coming from the East Coast, like the Iceland, Greenland, and Canada experience, where you start in New York, go up through Nova Scotia, cross the Labrador Sea, going up into Greenland, and then Iceland. I love that idea of fire and ice. We also have great, again, the British Isles experience, going to England, Scotland. We also have a new one that I'm going to showcase to you, but that experience also brings you to Norway. And then, of course, going up the Norwegian Sea into the midnight sun, going all the way up into the Arctic Circle and up towards Tromsø. So that's a really cool itinerary as well. And you can do that in the winter and do that in search of the Northern Lights. We are going to showcase a little bit of the quiet Med season. So these are our traditional itineraries that we do in the Med. But I wanted to point out to you, we do them during the winter months. So we don't take our ships out of the Med in, say, October and November and December and January, we actually have the opportunity for you to sail in the quiet season of the Med. So look into the quiet season Med itineraries. I love the Empires of the Med itinerary going Venice into the Greek Isles. We also have the iconic Western Med. We have the Med Odyssey, some other itineraries, one of them going from Athens to Istanbul. So take a look at those itineraries. They're great. I wanted to also showcase to you some new ones. I know we have been online together here, but hopefully you're learning a lot. New itinerary, Iberia, France, England. This is an awesome experience, 12 days, Lisbon to London, and you get to go to Spain, you get to go to France, and you get to go to London, spending extra time in Lisbon and London. So take a look at this new Iberia itinerary. We also have next up our new itinerary, British Isles and Ireland. So if you wanted to do the British Isles, but also do Ireland, take a look at this. You'll have the opportunity to go from London. You'll do several ports in England. Then you'll head to Cork, Ireland, where I'm from, Limerick. You'll do Scotland, and then head out into Belfast, Northern Ireland. This is very, very popular, and we have a great pre and post extension there. We have just a Scandinavia itinerary that's really quite neat, going from Oslo to Stockholm, really spending a lot of time in Sweden and Denmark. So of course, if this is of your heritage or you just really wanted to do that part of the Baltic, highly recommend that. And this one's really neat, the new Scandinavian Baltic capitals. So this is going to give you that Baltic region, all of the capitals, Copenhagen. You'll go to Gdansk in Poland. You'll go to Stockholm, Tallinn. So a really great opportunity for you to experience all the capitals in Scandinavia. So I think that one's a really cool one as well. Amalfi Coast in Africa, Iberia, Rome to Barcelona, another great new itinerary, giving you some different types of ports. So if you've already done the Western Med, this is going to give you a whole different experience. So you'll have Spain, Sardinia, you'll go to Tanzania, Sicily, Salerno. So this is stuff that you would not normally find on our Viking Med itineraries. The new iconic Western Europe, 19 days, London to Barcelona, giving you England, giving you London, Bordeaux, Spain, Portugal, Morocco. It's just really cool. And Palma de Morocco as well on here as well. So again, London to Spain, 19 days. These are all really beautiful itineraries. Jewels of the Mediterranean, going Rome to Rome. So this is round trip Rome, taking you to Salerno, Sicily, to Tanzania, Sardinia, Valencia, Barcelona, Marseille, Monte Carlo, Florence, Rome. Wow, I love it. 15 days. So take a look at our new itineraries. We also, of course, have Asia, Australia, New Zealand. You could do just Australia, doing our Grand Australia circumnavigation. You can do Singapore, Bali, beyond is a very popular itinerary. Bangkok, Bali, beyond. And you can also do Australia and New Zealand. So these are also terrific experiences. And then, of course, we have the Caribbean itineraries, all really great West Indies ports in the Caribbean. So highly recommend if you want to do something out of Fort Lauderdale or rather San Juan, you can do that itinerary, the Panama Canal, South America, Chilean fjords, another great opportunity. So as I mentioned, you truly can see the world through Viking. And if you're really daring, you can do a world cruise. We would love to see you do a world cruise. Make the most out of your time, 180 days, folks. Fort Lauderdale to New York City. It's a fantastic itinerary. Quickly taking a look at the Viking ocean ships. Look at this residential design. Again, Scandinavian design threaded throughout the vessel. The ship is an actual art museum. So you'll see beautiful art that's authentic throughout the vessel. You can download an app and kind of study all of this art. You could have just moments where you're sitting out in our living room and listening to our beautiful classical music. We have classical music throughout the vessel. Again, look at these beautiful sitting areas that truly feel like you are in your own living room. And that's what we like to achieve at Viking, is that quiet, calm cruising experience. The Explorers Lounge is a favorite. People love to spend pretty much all their time in the Explorers Lounge. We do trivia, we have classical music, we have a wonderful our Paps bar. Our Mamson Deli is also here, so you can enjoy some afternoon treats there and some sweet treats in the morning if you don't want a full breakfast. Just really beautiful ship. You could see the Winter Garden is one of my favorite spots where you can have wonderful high tea. We have all selections of different tea that you'll probably never see anywhere else. And so this is great. We also have entertainment in the Winter Garden, a wonderful place that's right off the pool, on the pool deck, to just relax. It's all windows throughout. You have views of the entire city on each side that you're docked in. Great spot. People love to relax here. And this is our retractable roof swimming pool. So, swimming even during those moments, if you decide to do quiet med season and it's a little bit colder out, you can certainly swim on board. Our infinity plunge pool, our spa. People love just coming back, going to the spa after a long day of sightseeing in port. It's wonderful. It's a Nordic spa, so it has what we call the snow grotto. So you could go into our snow grotto, you could go into our steam room, into the sauna, into the whirlpool. It's just wonderful. So we highly recommend our spa on board, and lots of accommodations. Again, starting with verandas in every stateroom, but this is one of my favorites, so I had to show you our penthouse veranda. Absolutely love this. This is a few categories up, but you get that extended, larger stateroom, and just absolutely love it. This is our penthouse junior suite. People, once you stay in the penthouse junior suite, you probably will never stay in any other category again. You have your actual own living room area. The drapes close if you want to close off the bedroom from the living room. And again, some extra space for you there. The lecture series on board, the entertainment with the classical music, the history. We have Tours Haven, which has our Viking band. We do movies under the stars. We do our Viking famous signature pool party where we have our Viking band playing by our pool area. There is so much entertainment that's happening on board that you will find it hard to do everything. And then our dining experiences, we have best dining choices at sea. We have our chef's table, which we wine. We do small plate pairing with different types of wine. It's fantastic. The restaurant, which is our main dining area, Manfredi's, our Italian restaurant, but everybody seems to love the steaks for sure there. And then Mamson's Norwegian Deli. We have the World Cave and the Aquavit Terrace, which people really tend to go to often. We love our specialty restaurants and our restaurant, but people love the World Cafe, where they serve king crab leg sushi every night. We also have around the clock 24-hour room service, our pool grill. So lots of places for you to enjoy a treat. And last but not least, Viking Expedition on the Octantis or the Polaris. This is our expedition ships. They are they're built PC6 polar class vessels. So what does that mean? They're icebreaker ships. So they can take you into the polar regions. So you're not going to be passing Antarctica. You'll actually be going to Antarctica. So just 378 guests, but crew 256. These ships are truly built for this region, and of course the science and the enrichment, right? So meaningful science is being done throughout these vessels. Our most popular itinerary, of course, is Antarctica. So going into the polar region and going from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia. We'll talk a little bit about that. Also, the Great Lakes. If you have an interest to stay a little closer to home, highly recommend the Great Lakes from Duluth to Toronto. You'll be able to experience all 5 Great Lakes. We also do, if you don't want to go on the Great Lakes for 15 days, have shorter itineraries, 8-day itineraries where you could do 3 or 4 lakes and do that type of experience and not do the full 15 days. I have to say, very popular. I would take a listen to some of the presentations we do on the Great Lakes on Viking.tv. And I would also really highly recommend it. You know, this is the beautiful uh, region. It's kind of like Canada's playground, Canada's European rivers. And what's really neat about this region is there is a lot of meaningful science that we're doing and a lot of expeditions that we can present to you in that region as well. And the ships are absolutely stunning, some of the best ships in that region for sure. So you'll love that experience. And then if you're really daring, you can go up into the Northwest Passage and do Nuuk, Greenland, and the Arctic Circle. So these are our itineraries for our expedition ships. We also have a lot of repositioning cruises, and we have a longitudinal cruise. So if you wanted to do 69 days, you can go and do this experience, which is from Buenos Aires all the way up to Milwaukee. There are so many other opportunities, though, so I highly encourage you to take a look at all of the expedition opportunities. What makes it really unique on board Viking and Expeditions is that we have the ability to really conduct some meaningful science. We actually have a full-scale lab on board. So we have established these exclusive partnerships with like Scott Polar Research, the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, where we're actually launching a weather balloon. And so as a guest, you'll be launching a weather balloon here on board Viking Expeditions. So these partnerships, what does that mean to you? You actually are going to be alongside these scientists. We'll have naturalists on board, scientists on board. And so really when you're thinking about going into these polar regions, it's so important to have that experience where you're there, maybe perhaps conducting some research, discovering some new things with them. You can go up into our lab. It's really quite neat. So let's just take a quick look at our Buenos Aires to Ushuaia itinerary. This is going into Antarctica via the Drake Passage. We also do have a quick stop at Cape Horn on the way home. It's really quite neat because you'll be spending your time, obviously, sailing that Drake Passage, but then most of your time, day 4 through day 10, in Antarctica, experiencing all landings. So we'll start in Buenos Aires. You'll have some time to explore the beautiful city of Buenos Aires. Then we go to Ushuaia, and then we start our journey through the Drake Passage. And here, of course, it could be Drake the Shake, Drake the Lake, you never know, but don't worry. What we love about the portion of this itinerary through the Drake Passage is all of the enrichment you're going to be getting before you get to Antarctica. So you'll be learning so much while you're heading into Antarctica about your experiences, your landings that you're going to be doing. You'll really be having that opportunity to explore the ship. And then, so we love that part of that opportunity to take a deep breath and really immerse yourself on board and into all of the opportunities that you have on board. And then, of course, your landings will be your highlight of your journey. So while you're in Antarctica, we don't even actually anchor. We reposition based on where the wildlife is. So it's a day by day thing, and we're kind of chasing the experiences. And you'll go out once a day by landing with the naturalists and the scientists, and you'll have that opportunity to really experience, of course, the penguins and many other things. What also makes Viking unique is all of our toys, if you will, that we have on board the ship. So I'll showcase them to you in a moment. But you have that opportunity to use the kayaks. You'll be going out on the Zodiacs to do your landings. And you also have that opportunity because the ship is a little larger, still a very small ship, but a little larger for the region in the expedition class ships, to have a spa on board, to have multiple dining venues on board. So all those comforts of Viking that you've come to love, or say you just want also that ship life on board, you'll be able to have that here on Viking as well. So here's a quick picture of Cape Horn as you would then be heading back to Ushuaia. And I love the sea lions, so I had to show you a picture of Ushuaia and the sea lions. The ship itself is, again, that Scandinavian design, but really built for the expedition world. And so what I love again about this is you'll have lots of places on board where you'll be learning about the region and your landings. The Aula is the theater that you're looking at here. All of the shades come down over those windows, and then this amazing screen comes down from the ceiling, and you have such wonderful presentations here in the Aula. We also have the labs and an in-ship hangar. So wait till you see a little bit more on that. We have our beautiful Aquavit Terrace for dining, plus other dining venues for you on board, like the restaurant. And again, see how those floor to ceiling windows are everywhere. We have retractable roof swimming pools. We have outdoor different temperature pools. So really a beautiful luxurious experience on board. You can even see with our staterooms, with our Nordic balconies. So the upper part of the window does come down to get some fresh air in your staterooms. Again, in all done and decorated in that design, that Scandinavian design. So I just think it lends so well to ship life, being such bright light spaces. The expedition equipment, though, is all housed in the hangar, and we have what we call our special operation boats. So this is something you could do in addition to your landings. So in the afternoon, say after a landing, you can board this special operation boats via platform, or if you're on the first boarding, you'll actually roll out of the ship on the special operation boats. There's two of them. They have 12-seat, they're hydraulic seats. There's 12 seats on them. And it's a great way to just spin around the region, be able to see beautiful wildlife, but not via Zodiac. So you wouldn't be doing a landing off of these vessels, but they're really quite fantastic, and something that, really doesn't exist to this level in the region with other vessels. So we're really proud of our special operation boats. And then, of course, we have our submersibles in the hangar. So we have two submersibles. So if you did want to do some underwater exploration, you can do that as well. And I'd love to show you a video of what it looks like in the hangar with all of the toys, as well as the special operation boats exiting and entering the vessel. It really is something truly unique to Viking in this region. So I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you all so much for hanging in there with me and listening in on all things Viking today. Like I said, we're going to cover the world, and we sure did. Rivers, oceans, expeditions. I can't thank you enough. So, because you were so kind to join us today, we have an event special exclusively for you. This is $150 per person shipboard credit. That is $300 for each stateroom that you book on Viking. And this goes a long way. Remember, we talked about all that value inclusive components that are already built into your fare. So you would be able to use this shipboard credit towards gratuities. You could use it towards that silver spirits package if you did want to extend your wine list and also have your before and after dinner cocktails. Highly recommend the silver spirits package, so you can use the credit towards that. And then the optional tours. So remember, there's one included for every single port, but if you want, you can do an additional tour in a port, and that is based on something you love, whether that's history, wine, culinary experiences, art museums. So this shore excursion shipboard credit that we're offering you today will be perfect for that, to use towards those optional tours. In addition to the exclusive Pavlus offer, we have a fantastic sale going on right now for the month of January with Viking. This is up to 35%. And on some of those longer itineraries, like the Grand European Tour for certain times, so not on every sailing, you would have the opportunity for free international air. But also remember, we have great air agreements with the carriers that you love, United, American, Delta. So you can also take advantage of very low airfare with Viking as well. The deposits are only $25 per person. And I think that's really important to call out because with Viking, we sell out. So, those of you that are already sailing us, you probably know how important it is to have multiple bookings reserved with us. So, a lot of our Viking loyal guests, they'll have their 2026 booked, their 2027, and even sometimes their 2028 booked. And they hold their staterooms with the $25 deposit because they know they want to make sure they get the right sail date, they get the right ship, they get the right stateroom. And so it's really important for you to think about securing a river journey. Some of our guests will have a river cruise booked, an ocean cruise booked the next year, or even in the same year. So do take a look at all that we explored today and find out what you want to do and start planning your travel 2 or 3 years out on Viking. It is so important to make sure you plan in advance due to the fact that we do sell out. So a great promotion right now, 35% sailing savings for all sailing. So please speak to Pavlus about our promotion and then of course that shipboard credit. And I just again wanted to close out thanking you so much for your time. And I think we do have some Q&A coming up next.
Thank you, Shannon and Michael. Shannon, you did an incredible job. I just heard a quote yesterday that says, "Life is short and the world is wide." And you really brought us the full Viking experience. So we have quite a bit of questions and many that were answered during the event. So I wanted to say thank you for that. One question that we keep receiving is, will I be receiving a copy of this presentation? The answer is yes. What we'll do is we'll send you a copy of the presentation. We'll send you a copy of the event, and we will include the event special. And I'll also note and mark where we talk about ocean, where they talk about expedition, and also note where the time mark is for the questions that we'll be asking you. So, Shannon, one question that kept coming up is you talked about the shore excursions and that there's choices of activity levels. Can you talk about the shore excursions also on the ocean, as well as the river and your other with expedition as well?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that I personally love is the fact that we do have the included shore excursion for every port of call, whether that's rivers or oceans. And expeditions, of course, your landings. I think the only charge for expedition while you're in Antarctica it would be the submersibles. But for your basic ocean and river cruise experiences, you always have the one included, and you always do have that choice to select certain activity levels. So what I mean by that is some ports maybe will have a walking tour. That would be a little bit more extensive and strenuous. We'll have an easy experience. So instead of doing the more aggressive experience, you can do the easier walking tour or the easier experience. So it's going at a little bit of a slower pace. And then we, of course, for those that have, a lot of stamina, they want to do the bike riding and all that, they can do that as well. So you have different activity levels. And then in addition to that, even for the included tours, you have the option for the optional shore excursions. So this would be in addition to the included tours. So most of the time we try to not have them overlap, Janet. Okay. But there are some cases where it is a longer optional tour that's like for a whole day or for 6 hours. So it would overlap with the included. However, our guests choose to do the optional tour because that will be a little bit more focused on something that's maybe a passion point for theirs. So like a history tour, an art tour, going to the art museum, going on the privileged access tour into the spires of the cathedral or behind the scenes, right? And so I do encourage you to, when you're planning out your tours in the ports, to note the included tour, note the activity levels of the included tour, and then in addition, really take a strong look at all those optional tours, because most of our guests on say an 8-day journey will do 2 or 3 optional tours, but they don't have to do them, every day. They do it again based on what their passions are, and really giving them that full experience in
Great. Thank you.
on shore. Yeah.
Great. And then also, can you elaborate on the pre and the post
Yes.
extensions?
Yes. I am such a fan of a pre and a post. I love it for so many reasons. First of all, most of these itineraries are starting or ending or both with these big, large, iconic cities, right? So you want to experience them. You don't want to touch down in Amsterdam and then be on a ship. You want to make sure you're seeing the museums, you're experiencing the big iconic ports. So we would always recommend doing a pre or a post extension, right? Now, Viking organizes these pre and post extensions for you. So you could just build it straight into the package with Pavlus. So you can build the air with Viking, you can build the pre and post with Viking, and the actual cruise. And Pavlus is pros at doing this. What I wanted to really touch on, though, which is kind of neat, is outside of making sure you're building in that pre or post or both a pre and post, is that Viking has introduced so many new fully guided experiences. So this is indicated. So your advisor can help you with this, or you can see this on the website for the day by day on the itineraries. You will see these pre and posts that are fully guided. So what does that mean? That means you're not just using us for a hotel and 1 or 2 tours, but really exploring these cities on your own. With the pre and post, the transfers are included to and from the ship and all that. But with the fully guided, now you're with a tour guide the entire time. So there is an upcharge for that. But if you're the type of person who really wants that guide with you at all times, really getting that fully immersive experience, learning all about it, not having to do anything on your own, take a look at these fully guided experiences. We have them in so many new destinations. We keep building them out, and they are spectacular. And then you're with Viking every step of the way. So it's more organized touring. It's really terrific. So hope
Great.
that answers
Thanks, Shep.
that question.
Great. I just went out to dinner with some friends who booked through Pavlos. They booked the Viking Rome to Barcelona itinerary. They're leaving, I think it's the end of April. They're super excited about it. So you gave great information on that. And they booked the pre in Rome
Great.
with Pavlos. So it was great.
Yeah, you need that
and then,
pre. You do need that
yeah, they do.
pre.
And they've never been there. So it's perfect.
Oh, wonderful.
And then really for the sake of time, can you talk about your world cruise for
Sure.
2027 or
Yes.
2028?
So we have a 27, a 26, and a 27. The 26 is already pretty much sold out. I think there's probably like 1 or 2 staterooms left, but 2027 still has availability. And we have one slide on the world cruise, and we make a funny joke. And we always say, well, if you refinance your house or if you sell your home, you can go on a Viking world cruise. Quite frankly, they're not that exorbitant in pricing, and it gives you the opportunity. It's just like 180 days of sailing the world. What an amazing way to see it. And you saw the ships, they're like residential, your own personal residence, right? So I highly encourage the world cruise. Oh, and you know what, I don't think we talked about our dress code on board Viking, did we?
Right. No, we have not.
The
No.
dress code, I'm sure there's a question, right, for that. But the dress code is country club casual. So basically, it's pretty casual. Of course, slacks in the restaurant in the evening. But I have to tell you, not having to get formal gowns and get all gussied up is really nice as well. Sometimes really lending to that Viking philosophy of we really want this to feel like it's quiet, it's calm, it's casual. And so you don't have to worry about bringing those formal gowns on board Viking. It's country club casual. So polo shirts, slacks, dresses, pants for the ladies. It's super easy.
Our friends brought that up last night. That's what they love as well. Shannon, for any questions that we didn't get to, we'll have the Pavlus Travel Planner get back to them. But I want to say thank you so much. You've done an incredible job.
Thank you.
You're just so well versed, obviously, on Viking. You brought it to life. And, I'd like to say an extension to all of the guests that joined today, your past loyal Viking guests, and we have a high percentage of new to Viking as well. I want to thank them for their time today. And I'm going to turn this over to you to close and just say thank you again for everything that Viking does for Pavlus.
Oh, thank you. And we love our relationship with Pavlis. I am a huge believer in organizing your travel through a travel advisor. I know that Michael talked a lot about, the value of that. I don't believe it's just wrapped up in savings. I believe in that ability to really work through your itineraries, work through your travel plans. Again, this isn't just one trip. This should be two, three, what your 3 or 4 year plan looks like. It's so important to be organized and planning your travel out. Things are selling out. Travel people are traveling everywhere. Flights are full, so you want to make sure you're working alongside of your travel planner and really curating your best experience. You never know, you may need more attention to detail on doing something unique on the front or the back end and not want to do the pre or the post through Viking. So having that travel planner alongside of you, who's going to make those recommendations. I have to say, every travel planner at Pavlis, you're fantastic. I think you all know the Viking product better than me. So I truly believe that too. So I thank you for our partnership. I thank you for all your guests that are listening in and all the Viking guests that book through Pavlis. Uh, I go experience the world, like Janet said. Be curious. Time is a precious commodity. And thanks again, and Happy New Year. Here's to
Happy New Year.
2026.